I'm very happy to be celebrating the 10th anniversary this year of the Cooperative Councils Innovation Network. Way back in 2012, when it was started up by myself, by Steve Reed and by Jim McMahon. I don't think we would ever have dreamed in our wildest dreams just how far the network would go.
We started out as a network of councils, really, councillors that came together because we had a shared view that cooperation was a way that we could reshape public services.
This was never set up to be a think tank or somewhere where policy was talked about. It was designed so that we could use that very power of cooperation in our own councils to make things better for our communities.
The way that the CCIN works is really like an action learning network. It's about different councils, other service providers, community organisations that are finding new ways to deliver public services that give the people on the receiving end a bigger say over what happens.
For me, it's working cooperatively with lots of other councils and lots of other like-minded people across the whole country, sharing their ideas, sharing our ideas and passing on to them, but learning from each other in that cooperative way so that we're promoting that cooperation across our communities.
Very quickly, we realised it wasn't just about councils, it was about community organisations, faith groups, other service providers. A lot of organisations that are out there and involved with communities also had something to contribute. And so what started out as quite a small kernel of an idea in town halls quite quickly exploded out to be something that encompasses a whole community, and that's where its real strength comes from.
There's a whole raft of organisations that can then network with councils and look at ways of how we can all work together to deliver those cooperative values.
Cooperation is, I suppose, going back to our roots, and it's around sharing and sharing whatever we gain and whatever we build together. It's about sharing it as opposed to trying to keep it just for yourself.
We run very light in terms of our overheads in the network, so we're able to use our member subscriptions to drive cooperative policy making, and we do that through our policy labs and prototypes, which are able to fund some of the policy work in our councils.
Coming together to deliver particular projects, looking at the range of things that councils might do, from the work that they're doing on housing to the work that they might be doing on other areas such as planning, and thinking about good practice from elsewhere, whether it's case studies, whether it's visits to other areas, whether it's actually just talking to other officers.
It's just fantastic because everyone buys into it, everyone wants it to work, and we just want to share best practice for our communities, don't we? And then start developing policies together for our communities.
One of the benefits of CCIN membership, you can pick up the phone and talk to somebody up and down the country, and they're only too happy to provide any kind of information that we want to help us to prosper elsewhere.
Somebody somewhere is going to have probably done a piece of work that you've been asked to deliver, or a challenge that you're facing, and because we're a network and we're a cooperative network, it's just so easy to ask somebody else that's been in a similar situation.
I really enjoy the officer calls, which are held regularly with my colleagues from across the whole country.
I chair the Co-op Council's officer network, which has now got sort of over 30 officers attending on a monthly basis to really share learning and best practice.
When I can talk to officers from other local authorities and elected members as well about their experiences in their places, I can understand what is likely to succeed. I can understand what barriers they've encountered when they've tried to do similar things.
Like-minded people doing a similar role to me with similar values are also are interested in what each other are doing and have their own set of experiences that I can draw on.
You're actually taking learning from other places and embedding it and making it real really quickly in your local area, so you can have real impact really quickly and you can learn from other people's mistakes. I mean, it's a win-win.
I know for a fact the officers as well really increases their morale, because they can do a project and it doesn't just sit on a shelf in the council, it actually can be shared and then other people benefit from our learning.
One of the other things that we get to do is to go on trips together to find out about best practice, not just in this country but to go abroad.
We've actually funded a project to take a delegation of councillors and officers to Mondragon, a phenomenon of the cooperative world based in the Basque Country of Spain, which is an opportunity for CCIN members to immerse themselves in what Mondragon is.
We're here to learn and understand and look at how we can translate the cooperative values that they bring to the region to our respective towns and cities.
And for that, we are going to vote. I have the list of all the members, me too, I'm in that list, and we vote for the best people that are going to manage the cooperative.
This region provides such a wonderful model.
And the structure of the corporation is
that
similar.
actually improves the lives of everybody at all levels, at the same time of creating an important opportunity for the cooperative model in reality to work on behalf of everybody.
And the other option is to change from the bottom up. And for that we have to change people.
We will visit DigiLab, which is the laboratory of digital technologies that we are starting this year.
We want a mixed economy in South Ribble of worker-owner co-ops and traditional businesses.
Because of Mondragon and to know a bit more the cooperative field.
And I suppose what we're learning is how that might work, what it might look like, what it might feel like.
That we work inside Ikerlan as a cooperative.
And so we're just learning from a place that's been doing it for over 40 years.
Mondragon!
Being the member of cooperative, it gives you some rights but some obligations, and one of the obligations you've got as a member of the cooperative is that you have to fulfill the roles that you are elected for.
What Mondragon have done with their corporation and the number of cooperatives that they have is absolutely outstanding and hugely inspiring. I think to translate that to the UK with our own towns and councils, I think is going to be a big ask from where we are right now. And so for me, it's very much about cherry picking some of those best ideas and actually some of the things that we can actually put into practice now and start making a difference back home.
Chaos!
Sharing innovative ideas and sharing our cooperative values, cooperating with our communities but also across councils. I think it's fantastic.
Well, I was thinking about CCIN earlier in the context of it being 10 years of the network, and actually what came to mind was the first time I went to the CCIN conference in 2019, and I heard about the different things that were going on in different places from different local authorities part of the network. And my overwhelming feeling was actually we found our home.
It's been really quite rewarding to see a number of councils have joined in the last few months, and we just want that network to grow really. I think that would be my ambition, to have more of those cooperative principles embedded across our country.
There's no way that any council can just look inward to itself and find all the answers that it needs. It has to look outwards to its own community, but even more than that, outwards towards what other councils and service providers are doing across the country.
From really diverse topics like climate change, cooperative housing, looking at how our cooperative councils tackled the COVID crisis and now how they're looking at the cost of living crisis. And our cooperative approach really makes us stand out from the rest.
It's given me some real opportunities to meet some fantastic people. I've had the opportunity to go to visit some fantastic authorities all over the UK who are doing some really, really interesting work and are really committed to doing things differently with their communities. So I would recommend anyone who's thinking about getting involved in the network to take that step and get in touch.
And all I would say is that I think every single council in the country should be part of our network because it is quite wonderful.
We just hit a moment, I think, where people wanted to look at a different way of delivering for our communities, and that's what's made the network so strong and so successful. Our councils have really embraced that. They've embraced the principle of sharing what they do and of engaging our communities in the activities of their councils. And that's been hugely powerful, and that's why I think the network's now grown to have over 120 members. The interest in our network from across the movement and through other political parties as well is growing from strength to strength. So I think we've got a great future ahead of us, and here's to the next 10 years.